Oh, it smells so good over here.
Good.
And since we have those random days that get chilly occasionally, we're going to make soup today. And joining us is Dan Bavaro, founder of Bavaro's. And we are making Italian wedding soup today.
Italian wedding soup, correct.
Yes.
So it has a little bit of history here. So
whenever Dan comes, we get a history lesson. And I'm not allowed to know beforehand, so I'm learning with you. So go ahead.
Exactly. So Italian wedding soup, like you would think, oh, if you have a wedding, you got to have this soup because it's part of tradition. It's not. The wedding actually relates to marriage, okay? And the marriage of it is between the meat and the vegetable in the soup. So that's why they call it wedding soup. In Italian,
cute.
it's something else,
like
but
that.
I can't pronounce it, and I don't want
That's
to
okay.
make a fool of myself.
There we very interesting. I would have assumed weddings.
Exactly.
Wedding between meat and veggies. Okay, cool. So how do we make this? What's in it?
It's very simple. So what I'm going to do is call out some ingredients for one of the most controversial food items in American history is the meatball.
Oh my gosh.
What goes in it? Beef, pork, cheese, eggs, sea salt, garlic, dice up some onion, some bread, and fresh parsley is what we put in our meatballs.
Okay.
Okay, so, and then you want to roll these out since it's a soup. You don't want to make like a 3-ounce meatball. You want to do something about an inch and a half.
Okay, so smaller is better?
Correct. Yes, and then we're not going to bake or fry them. So while you prepare all your ingredients and you're rolling out your meatballs, what you want to do is you want to take about 3 containers of low sodium chicken broth.
Okay. Bring
that to a boil. So by the time you're rolling these out and that comes to a boil, you chop up some escarole. Okay, this is, I don't want to say it's a lettuce, but it's a leafy vegetable, right?
Okay.
Used for this type of soup. It's pretty popular.
Can you buy those at most normal grocery stores?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
And then you want to rough chop that, but not big pieces because it's going to cook in the soup.
Okay.
Okay, so once all the meatballs are rolled out, your broth is boiling. Okay, you're going to take your meatballs, put them in the broth.
Yep.
With the escarole, and that's only going to take about 8 minutes to cook.
That's all?
That's it.
Even the meatballs will be fully cooked?
Correct, fully cooked. So all in, you're talking about a half hour to prepare this. And then to top it off, especially now in Florida, it's cold, right?
Yeah.
It's like 70 degrees. so with this soup, I mean, what's better than like a nice toasted bread? So a little touch for me. So, we buy some Italian bread, what's left over from the meatballs, and you just slice that nice and thin, some butter, some cheese, some sea salt, toast that up, and you're good to go.
Oh my gosh, and your house is going to smell fabulous for like weeks.
Absolutely.
I can already tell.
Absolutely.
Or, okay, maybe days, exaggerate a little bit. But so now while we're plating this, I know meatballs are like a big controversy and everyone thinks theirs is best, but what is your like one tip to make the best meatball for this type of soup?
For this type of soup, best meatball, it has to have flavor. The soup has flavor with all the broth, but your meatball does too. And I feel like one of the, the biggest components is the type of cheese you use.
Okay.
So there's Parmesan, and then there's Parmigiano Reggiano.
Oh, okay.
Reggiano is aged, it's very sharp, and it's absolutely delicious. So if you want to make something, you're going to have guests come over, you want to impress your family, you want to have like really good flavors, use the highest ingredients. That's what we do at our restaurant at Bavaro's. We always buy the best. We never chintz out. We do the same at our house. And I think that all in, ingredients are key. That's what you got to use. So.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. I'm going to sprinkle the cheese on top of this soup. And if you are not into making this yourself, you guys have a location in St. Pete, Tampa, and an airport.
Airport, if you're flying out, we're building one in Sarasota. And we also have a small restaurant called Sorellina, Little Sister in Italian, at the Hall on Franklin.
So cute. All right, thank you so much, Dan. We'll be right back after a quick break.
1985